Bullying Experience, a message to PM Stuart Young from Imran Khan. There are two parts to every story, and this is mine. I was so happy to make my father proud by passing my common entrance exam. CIC was my first choice, as my father also attended there. I soon learned that high school was completely different from my primary days at Maria Goretti with Miss Gonzalez. My aspiration was to enter the medical field like my father, even though art and music were my passion. My studies took a back seat, however, once I started attending CIC. To be clear, the bullying I and many others endured was not light-hearted ribbing. Myself and others were verbally attacked about race, appearance, family, and what part of Trinidad you were from. I was punched, in the groin as well, slapped, kicked, spit on, and had my allowance money taken away weekly. I started hiding during breaks and lunch just to avoid confrontations with Stuart Young and his friends. This went on until Form 5 and progressively got worse and worse each year. When I informed my school, I was told I needed to toughen up. The dean did nothing, the vice principal did nothing, the principal did nothing. My math teacher at the time even called me a fat piece of shit during a class. These were the adults that I had to turn to in an institution that was supposed to be a safe space for learning. I decided at that point to confront Stuart Young to find out why he kept picking on me. His response was, "You're a fat piece of Indian shit," as he walked away with his friends. Naively, I never viewed race as an issue when I was attending CIC, as we were all from the same small island. I walked away dismayed that there was no resolution. Weeks later, I decided I was going to put a stop to this. I had become withdrawn, depressed, and hated going to school. So one morning before school started, I put my books away in my locker, went downstairs with a baton hidden, and saw Stuart Young walking into school alone across the parking lot. I approached him again and told him he needed to stop. He looked at me and said, "What you going to do about it, you fat piece of shit?" At that point, I lost it. The irony was that the bully who had been tormenting me for the last 5 years was now running away, crying for help like a coward. Do I regret my actions back then? Oh God, yes, but in the mind of a 16-year-old, this seemed like the only feasible recourse. Soon thereafter, I was expelled from CIC, and Stuart Young was now the victim of an unprovoked attack. After the coup happened, that pushed the decision to leave Trinidad even more and start over. And for those of you passing judgment on the situation, imagine if this was happening to your child. At first, I couldn't understand why my sister spoke up about it after the ridiculous article the Express wrote, but then I realized she was just trying to stand up for me because, frankly, I couldn't be bothered. Thank you, Lasana, for the kind words and speaking the truth. I lost many friendships after I left, due in part to wanting to forget everything. You, Colin Santana, Dave Sixto, Maruf Muhammad, Dale Penko, Valmiki Ramlagan, and countless others to name. Hopefully, if I ever do come back to visit, we could grab a roti and a red solo.